Go ahead.
Good evening, good afternoon. You find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene takes place in a small airstrip that is located about 45 minutes outside of Dublin city proper, where a small commercial airline or a small commercial jet sits on the tarmac waiting to lift off. It is just after 10 o'clock at night as you arrive at this place. The designated meetup point whereby you will be collecting a certain individual. As you arrive, you will see the fact that representatives of Clan Tremere are already in situ, including Lord Stalheim, whom is standing in front of another individual whom is how would I phrase this? He has a number of chains that have been wrapped around his body twice and three times, and very heavy shackles over his hands. He is going to be pictured here in a moment. There he is. That is his picture. He has a very interesting set of manacles on his hands that are covered, for those of you who can see them, in arcane sigils that seem to blaze with an unnatural energy whenever he moves. Though, interestingly enough, you would think that for something this sensitive, he has not been staked and is thoroughly conscious. You can actually see him move his eyes. His mouth is not bound, but then again, he's not talking at the moment. As he will arrive, Stalheim will greet you. So I will go from left to right, and you may do a brief in-character introduction, and we will go from there. So, Francis, you're up first.
Francis enters the airfield. He just drives up in a blank SUV. Finds a rough place to park. Gets out, starts heading towards Stalheim. Francis is equipped in his combat attire, so he's fairly heavily armored and fairly heavily armed. Just walks straight towards the Tremere delegation with a very professional swagger.
All right, Jones, you're up next, sir.
Jones will just kind of pop out of nowhere due to obfuscate. He is dressed as he usually is, which is completely covered up via a lot of different kinds of hats and clothes and coats and jackets. And he'll just kind of stand there awkwardly until somebody draws attention to him.
Mr. Formo.
Ryan would be, at the moment, by Catcher's side, he's wearing his normal, typical casual attire. His coat is different, but apart from that, everything seems to be normal. His typical cane. There is, of course, the bump that you might assume to be a Benelli M4 under his jacket, but, nothing out of the ordinary.
Katya?
Would Katya already be there as part of the little Tremere group?
No, because they came from Belfast, where
Yeah.
this individual is being kept.
Okay. So Katya would arrive with Ryan because, she's got the big car.
Of a truck. That's about it.
Yeah. But yeah, she is dressed a little more appropriately for the situation. Something that, is breathable and she can actually move in.
Cool. We will have Mistina next.
Christina appears next to the Tremere delegation in a soft pop. Good evening. I didn't keep you waiting.
Lovely. All right. I have no idea, Nelson, what your character's name is because I can't read that font. It's either Mael or Al, and it's kind of hard to spell.
Mile. It's Mile. And yeah, Mile kind of comes behind most people, kind of looking at everything that's new since he woke from. No, he's nearly like 100 old sleep. He's kind of looking everything like, okay, what is this? Oh, and what is this? Oh, what is this?
And last but certainly not least, we'll have Mr. Derek Bond.
Mr. Derek Bond comes into the scene alongside his fellow kindred. Because this is a matter that, he's simply providing some much needed, shall we say enforcement? Yeah, I think enforcement is probably the better description for his particular role. He's just being rather stoic and quiet for the time being. Well, besides, unless he's spoken to, probably more than likely by Mr. Formeau. But yes, he'll just walk alongside everyone, and yes, pretty much it.
Upon seeing you, Stalheim will simply say, "Very well." He looks Francis up and down. He is all yours, and just turns on his heel, and they start to leave.
Well, Francis will just take him. Not gonna look at him. Because he's a Tremere, so he may have powers over the mind.
Smiling as he looks up at you. He's kind of kneeling on the ground. As I said, he's surrounded by shackles that have arcane symbols etched into the actual metal. So he's rather sedate, but he is definitely conscious.
Superstition runs deep in these.
Mr. Formeau, you have any idea of the functions of these shackles?
They prevent me from using my powers. I'm rather capable of conversing with you. A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'd shake your hand, but don't appear that's an option right now.
You could actually. He kind of holds it out. You actually could. His hands are kind of bound together, but it does mean that he has the ability to shake your hand if you'd like.
I'm wearing gloves. What the fuck? Alright, shake his hand.
Nothing happens. He shakes your hand.
For now.
For now. You're like so paranoid. Terribly polite.
Oh, there's no reason for me to not be. You are, after all, bringing me to my liberation.
Fair enough. Depends on the particular context of liberation, though.
Indeed. Well, my name is Xavier. Xavier Torlot. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr.
Ryan Famo. You may have heard of me as Le Papillon Blanc.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, monsieur. I'm assuming that I am rather what you paid for, so he's kind of just intimates the change. We're just going to sit here all night.
Looks over at the seneschal.
Get in
Yep.
the car.
You were actually going on a plane, dear.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we gotta fly to, the mainland.
I wonder what cruise missile
You
tastes
said-
like.
The rendezvous point is in the Rouen forest in Normandy.
Oh dear. Right, okay, we're getting on the... Okay, put him on the plane. Francis will just kind of info on him. I don't know how willing he is. He's probably very willing, but Francis kind of has a hand on him at all times.
Basically, the only thing you have to do is kind of put him onto his feet because of how the chains are situated. It would be very difficult for him to lift up. Basically, as he will happily explain this, you should bring him. The chains actively prevent him from using any of the powers. It prevents him from expending the blood, and without the blood, he is not strong enough to snap the chains. Thus, it is rather an unfortunate situation and turn of events that he finds himself in. But you will enter onto the jet. It is a very modest, very small private plane. Nothing like Prince Thrain's old ride that you have used at least once. So it is much more modest. But he will be seated probably towards the back of the plane. There will be a ghoul who will be
where the cool kids sit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Francis, he'll basically tell all present that someone will be situated with hostage at all times. Does this plane have a pilot?
It does.
Thank God, because I certainly can't fly a plane. Well, that's good. In which case, yeah, Francis will just have one person with the hostages all times, just keep them in the back of the plane.
I will gladly volunteer for guard duty.
He will offer to play cards with you, Jonesy. Do you play blackjack or poker?
I do under the explicit conditions that it's for literally nothing but kicks.
It is indeed. He will offer, how about we play poker for matchsticks?
This is agreeable.
But other than that, he is perfectly pleasant and communicative. If anyone would like to talk to him, it could yield some interesting insights. If not, we'll skip ahead.
Well, might be permitted to stop at the Bayou Tapestry while we're on the way.
Looking over at the captive, what got you in this predicament?
That's a very interesting question. He says, as Jonesy beats him on a hand of poker as the plane starts to lift off. He says, well, I was doing research, and needless to say, your organization were also doing a similar vein of research. The two of us met face to face, and they were able to overwhelm my protectors quicker than I was able to overwhelm theirs. And so here I find myself.
And what were you looking for?
That's a very interesting concept. I'm curious, does anyone smoke, and would they mind if I have a cigarette?
Light a cigarette. Listina smokes. Wait.
We're on a plane.
He just kind of...
We're on
We're
a
on a plane.
Yeah. We're on a private plane, to be fair. The fucks they don't give.
Look, first it's a cigarette.
Beg your pardon?
The chains come off, that's all I'm saying. I've seen Shawshank Redemption.
You put the cigarette in his mouth, nothing happens. I did that right now. He's honestly just being polite. I love how paranoid you are.
Yeah, how to just put the cigarette in his mouth and light it? Like, I'm asking questions.
Evan, it's fucking vampire.
Yeah. I realise you're paranoid, but as soon as you come to the realisation that every Tremere is a shitter, then you'll understand that it doesn't matter.
Oh,
I think, like...
To answer your question, as it's a fair question, I was trying to understand, or rather, I was working on several realizational points as it pertained. He takes a deep drag of the cigarette. He lifts the chain. He can actually hold the cigarette in his hand. It's just a little bit kind of awkward as he moves his head in his hand. He says, I was looking into, shall we say, the causality between certain historical events and, well, the movements of certain interested parties throughout Europe at a very given and very specific time. To break that down, I was tracing someone's steps.
And who might that person be?
Just to contemplate for a few moments. I pride myself on being a historian, so why not? I'll teach. I suppose that you're all vaguely familiar with an individual whom, or rather a triumvirate of individuals whom at one point ruled the great city of Constantinople, now called Istanbul.
Okay.
Yes.
You referring to the Pashas or some other more kindred-looking clan?
I'm referring to the man who so delusionally thought he was an angel.
Michael.
Yes, we're going that far back then.
But you misunderstand me, Mr. Fromo. To some of us, that is merely the blink of an eye in historical terms. Not myself at all. No, I'm a member of Clan Tremere, born, raised, House Goratrix, so I'm not that old. Others, on the other hand, are. But to answer.
Shit.
Coming through robot for anyone else?
Yeah.
There were several individual missions. He pointed Jones, a member of your clan, as a matter of fact, and your clan are notoriously difficult to keep track of.
Hang on. So it's like you did a bit of you did a bit of a Hail Galaxar there, and like like the packet loss. We didn't catch the start of the sentence. Sorry.
Oh, okay. He said, I was hunting for a member of your clan, actually. He points at Jonesy, and he says, but your clan are notoriously difficult to track down.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Who are you hunting down, if you don't mind me asking?
Hang on 2 seconds. I'm just going to refill my tea, and I will be back, and I will explain it to you.
When you realise that the homunculi are actually just minor demons bound to a corporeal form that know your name because they have access to your blood.
Ooh.
It's like when he was like 3 people in charge of Istanbul, it's just like the Pashas. You know? Enver, Emmett, and the other Pasha were they founded the military dictatorship that took over after the Ottoman Empire in the 19 teens.
Well,
Yeah, funny story. They got themselves involved in the First World War by stealing a Russian ship. No, actually, I think it was. The Germans stole a ship from the Ottomans that was smuggled into them by collaborators within the Ottoman Empire, and then attacked the Russians wearing fezzes. I'm not joking, and that's what dragged them into the war because Russia declared war on them.
Awesome. What a way to enter a war.
To answer your question, for the record, his name was Malachite.
Can I have Kendra go on that?
You can't, however, Jonesy can. Because this individual would only really come up if you were a Nosferatu who knew Nosferatu things.
So, Nos lore, I'm here.
Yeah.
Or vampire lore, since you don't give us clan lore.
Yeah, vampire lore, but I tend to give you lower diffs if it's associated with your own clan, so yeah.
Is analytical applicable?
Yes, it is.
Huzzah. What's the difficulty?
It is difficulty 7.
7. Come on, sidekick. You can do it. I believe. There we go. I got 2 successes.
Two successes?
Yes.
Malachite was a respected and very, very present figure during the Dream. He was given the title the Rock of Constantinople, and was a very, very fervent believer in he was a very, very fervent believer in the Dream and the Patriarch. After the fall of Constantinople, he left the city, and some say he took some of the relics and more valuable pieces of objet d'art that were taken with him when he left.
Filing that one away for later. Cool.
Francis doesn't really do much talking, uncharacteristically.
Probably putting that all specs to good use.
Pretty much.
Are you resentful?
I beg your pardon?
You resentful?
I didn't quite hear you.
Are you resentful?
Am I resentful? Not so. Ultimately, it was a fun game. The fact of the matter is that I'm not a sore loser. However, I am valuable enough, clearly, to be ransomed. So, ultimately, I don't exactly mind.
I see.
He smiles. I have been in prison for not necessarily a long time, but I've been in prison for about, what? Well, hang on. What year is it?
2019.
Actually, in this game, it's 2020. Fun fact.
2020.
Interesting. I've been in prison for about 4 years. That's a shorter period of time than I thought.
Since you fancy yourself a historian, and you fancy yourself a teacher, does your eclectic mind find interesting and/or conversation worthy?
That is a very interesting statement. What do I find conversation worthy? Well, you can see he taps the underside of his chin with his finger, and he says, "So I am led to understand that I am to be traded for a prince, no less. I mean, it goes to show in what high value and esteem certain individuals keep me. I'm truly blessed by their continued friendship. I'm just curious. So, do you? I couldn't help but overhearing in the back of the car as they transported me down. Do you Camarilla types often blackmail one another for vast amounts of material goods when it is that another one of your members are backed into a wall?"
What else do we have to do for millions and trillions of years? It keeps the life interesting.
I quite that is such honesty indeed.
I would also point out that they don't have the luxury of the Voldiri. They're not all positively inclined to each other in the same way. Well, I say luxury. It's more of a peer pressure.
As you already know, my dear, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's just a matter of who is on the table and who is doing the bidding. Already know this, I'm sure.
Quite right. Quite right. He smiles as he says, "We are all merely servants of the truth, one way or the other. But I tell you what." He looks at Francis and he says, "You're the leader of this intrepid band of entities, yes?"
What of it? Oh, what of it? Can I be
Simple
heard?
curiosity. Yes, we can hear you. He was just answering. He said simple curiosity. Nothing meant by it, merely wishing to understand.
The Doritos trying not to get distracted.
What did he say? Merely I understand or something?
Merely trying to understand. As if he's trying to understand the situation. That's why he's saying you're the one in charge, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Now they know who to shoot.
Nonsense. If it's the individual it is who has arranged my transfer, they'll keep to their end of the bargain.
That they will.
Always found them to be, generally speaking, at least inclined towards an honorable accord.
Yeah, it would depend on who it is you deal with.
Certainly would.
He smiles as he says, "You see, fortunately I have several tricks up my, or had, or still have several tricks up my sleeve. For example, due to a quirk of my own blood, I can't be bloodbound, and I'm guessing you're wondering why it is that I'm having such a pleasant conversation with you and haven't been staked."
Ryan just kind of goes up to him, pokes him in the heart region.
"I discarded it long ago, Mr. Famo."
Yes, I'm quite familiar with the skills of the Setites. I've spent the last 150 years fighting the little bastards trying to infiltrate their way into New Orleans.
Those, for point of clarification, would be serpents of the light. I'm led to understand they get very prickly when it is you confuse them.
They are all scum.
and what's to you as a fine, upstanding, blood-drinking fiend?
Nothing of the sort. Cowering, quibbling, lying, dealing in temptation is their particular flavor. I simply am a researcher. I would not begrudge that they are skilled in what they do, certainly. They are not my particular favorite flavor.
Your favorite flavor? That is an interesting acronym to use, but yes, I will accept that logic. He nods.
Well, as they say in New Orleans, laissez le bon temps brûler. Let the good times roll.
Quite so. He smiles again. He has this very odd smile, almost like though there's a smile on his lips, there's no feeling behind the smile. You can tell that this person has not been privy to his own humanity for a very long time. And if you had to guess, he probably follows a very unpleasant path. The smile is wrong and alien.
I am an aura perception him.
Okay.
Psychic's like, fuck you.
Is it still running slow?
Yeah.
It was running slow all yesterday as well.
That's annoying. 1 sec. I'm gonna find an alternative.
2 successes.
Oh.
Yeah, you pull up his aura. He doesn't even look like a kindred under his aura. It looks human. But it is entirely calm.
Alright.
He's completely in situation.
You went robot again, Evan.
Oh. You had to get feels he's entirely in situation.
Those one might be inclined if only there was someone who, I don't know, could get straight answers out of a man.
Francis, for his part, remains silent.
All I can think of is just dab of mercury. He's just like a second, like someone's just gonna sneeze on his shackles. He's just gonna like dab and leave. Yeah,
Yep, that's why I'm not really touching him.
probably a good idea. I mean, I would assume that Clantrime would have taken blood samples of the guy by now. So were he to, I don't know, doing anything particularly suspicious prior to this, they would end up. Source is an appropriate word, yeah. Who am I to poke the bear?
The plane will fly on for the night. It is only a very short plane journey until touchdown in France, about an hour and a half later, on another small quaint airstrip. This is the land of the Toreador, and they have that you are given a correct with or the cars have been left for you with keys. As down as you're walking down the do you call them gangplanks? Which ones get out of planes?
Don't know. Staircase, I guess.
The stairs or
As you walk
the,
down the
tunnel
portable
thing?
staircase, yeah, we'll go with portable. As you walk down the portable staircase, the individual in question, just once again simply smiles, rather content. There are two cars that have provided two large kind of van-like Humvees. So, who wishes to play the driving game?
I've got a Dutton Drive. I'll do it.
Francis has got a Don Drive too.
Hey.
All right. So which car are you putting Friendo in?
He probably needs to go in the back one, so one of us can be a front, drive one of the Humvees up front, and he can go in the one in the back.
Yeah, sounds good.
Which one?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, which one's going to be which thing?
I'll drive the back one, if that's cool.
I'll drive front one.
I'll go in whatever
All
couch
right,
is going
so he will be as the cars begin to speed the night. It'll take you about another 45 minutes to reach the agreed upon destination. The destination itself being a large, being a small bridge with fast flowing stream. Across a fast flowing stream in the middle of the forest. On the other side, you have see the other party have arrived yet.
Would you look
What
at
do you
that? Running water.
Francis,
very much.
well, Francis just scans the environment with his sensors.
Make me anyone who
What are we rolling?
perception.
Perception alertness? Because you're being like super robotic. Lags like a lot of the time when you talk, at least for me.
Am I super robotic? Or just for Nelson?
You're
for
kind
you
of
too.
cutting out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That is. I just broke my train of thought. Perception, alertness, difficulty 8, minus your awesomeness.
2 successes.
Anybody? Kids.
Only one who has the okay. There we go. Three successes for me.
Oh, an unfortunate amount of ones for Anthony.
None for me.
I get 5.
Oh, how's she out then? You are definitely not the only ones here. On the opposite side of the bank, that you see a number of glowing red eyes that are looking out towards you. They're there, they're just not being very visible about it. A few moments later, one of the deep pools of shadow cast by one of the trees, as you see this woman step out of it. Somewhere in the underworld, ages. She begins to very slowly walk towards the bridge, walks onto the bridge, and makes her way to the center point of the bridge. Then
I'm sorry, Evan. Say that again one more time.
hang on, I'm going to try and fix that to see if it'll work better. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wonderful weather we're having.
Yeah, it's nice, right? It's nice and sunny today. Nice, it was even pleasant.
It's just like brings up set eyes. I'm like, don't you dare talk about them grease bag wielding fucks in my presence. Also, Wanga is a funny name for sorcery.
Oh my god.
So, I assume you're gonna walk over to him, or her, or it at this
Her.
point. Like,
Her. That's Ambroise's sire.
it's still a ball of shadows. Like,
Shadows.
You know, I think once you've ascended that tier of existence, gender is not really an important concept. But yeah, point is you're gonna approach it and be like, "Yo, where's
my
Papa?"
boy? Yeah,
Yeah.
where's Granddaddy? You said you'd have my boy. Where's my boy?
Yeah. Goddamn, me and the boys hiding in the trees with protein. Now, look, hypothetically speaking, if I was, I don't know, a gangrel with protein 3, I might hide in the ground.
True.
Actually, I'm also going to, at least we're going to ensure that the engine for the back Humvee where the hostage is, the engine for that is going to remain on, because, if shit kicks off.
If shit kicks off, I'm going to take a wonderful trip to La La Land.
Also, I mean, they've already seen, like, all of us.
I mean, yeah, I'm Celerity 5, I don't care, I'm fine. I can just run it 500 miles an hour away from the situation, but it's not ideal. Like, we keep the engine on the car, so just in case. It's not the best. It's not exactly going to give us a head start, but it's something. Not the best of luck today with all the tech issues.
No, certainly not.
I did a test recording just before we started, and sound was working fine, so fingers crossed that it works again.
Can I just say that whoever picked this meeting place is a schmuck?
I mean, it was probably Sabat that picked the meeting place, let's be fair.
Yeah, I know, but they probably
We
picked the meeting.
apologize. My signal died horribly. So yes, my apologies. You guys will see this woman walk from a pit of shadow that forms on the opposite bank to halfway across the bridge. She will simply stand there and appear to be waiting.
For posterity's sake, I will, however, be drawing a door on the ground with a piece of chalk on the road, on the off chance things get too dicey.
So Francis will walk onto the bridge. He doesn't see their hostage. But he'll walk onto the bridge.
And who might you be?
Francis Beaumont, seneschal of the domain of Dublin.
You. You're the one who killed Voivode Petrovich.
A few of us had a hand in that.
Modesty. My. I thought that you camera lapdogs were all about your own pomposity.
Sorry, can you just repeat the latter half of that sentence?
I thought you Camarilla dogs were all about your own pomposity.
I think it's just bat noises.
Not quite all of us, but that's neither here nor there.
Very well then. I see you have my prisoner, or rather, your hostage. So I will materialize mine in 30 minutes and we'll do the exchange here. Agreeable?
30 minutes.
Hmm?
Oh, Francis just says 30 minutes.
Yes. Unlike you, I'm not so much of a fool that I would keep mine close by.
To be fair, it wouldn't take much to kill ours.
Is that what you think? And do so. I'm ready. Kill him.
How many boybos does this guy have to whack before this guy thinks he's not joking? Like, to be fair, Sabat are kind of fanatics, so it might just be they don't give a fuck about the hostage and they're doing this to whackers. But you know,
or it could be the fact that Evan knows which disciplines can bring someone back to life.
This is true.
But
if I was so eager to kill my hostage, they wouldn't be a hostage, would they? Francis kind of smirks.
30 minutes. I'll be back.
I'm sure you will.
If you weren't a Camarilla lapdog, I'd almost say you had potential. Oh! Her eyes turn. That blonde-haired one. Those friends screamed most excellently when I last met them. And she blows Katya a kiss. If you'll excuse me, I'll go and seize your prisoner. Katya, now would be the time to roll frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty 8.
Fuck.
Ugh, small human. 6.
Hey, there's this thing called willpower.
Mm-hmm. That's a thing that she's going to be spending to make sure she doesn't frenzy.
What's the shroud like this time of year?
This time of year, you say?
Yes. Are the birds out and singing? Are the trees decayed and mottled?
Insert yes. It is everything you thought it would be and more.
I like that answer. You're like the Willy Wonka of answers.
I try my best to be the Willy Wonka of answers.
And now I wait on Sidekick to do its thing. With the willpower, that's 3 successes. She's fine. She's pissed off, but she's fine.
All right. She will proceed to leave from the other half of the bridge, at which point he will say, my, they sent a seraph. I suppose I should be honored. They don't generally use those unless, they actually care for what it is that they're trying to actively see to. If it helps, Mr. Famo, that was your name, yes?
That's correct.
You've proven to be a rather fine conversational partner. If you ever wish to continue on our pleasant conversations, you must be my guest some evening.
I don't wish to endear sedition within the group. At this current moment in time, I have unfortunately been forced to throw my lot in with the Ivory Tower. So I'm afraid I will have to politely decline.
So, meaning you've become a lapdog?
Become a lapdog, yes, that's it, ball. It's the way of the world. I mean, look at yourself right now. You're the one powered up.
You know, you're not wrong.
Regardlessly speaking, hypothetically, those with the strongest ties, the oldest people, are most connected to those in which any gestures to the other side would be, well, able to wield the most control over. And I must admit, there aren't a lot of those in the Camarilla.
Aren't a lot of wasps in your Camarilla.
Ryan kind of like shrugs. What's the word I'm looking for? Should we say a gentleman of more refined taste?
Ah, I see. Yes. Well, that is often the case.
It must be rather boring. I don't imagine a particularly interesting conversation to be struck with, members of the Sword of Cain. Depends on the context, I suppose, but as a whole, they tend to be thoroughly morose and,
My dear Mr. Famo, the fact of the matter is that regardless the ideologies and the theologies, I remember what happened during the Week of Nightmares, and in that moment, I saw the truth of everything laid bare. The fact of the matter is that regardless of their zeal, regardless of their fanatical devotion, at least the Sabbat recognize the threat to all of us, and are actively trying to curtail it before it can wash us away in a sea of blood.
Brian just kind of looks over at Francis. Any party line you wish to add here, Seneschal?
I think his silence speaks volumes.
Did anyone confirm that the person is who they say it is?
confirm that who is what, sorry?
The person that we're exchanging is who they're saying it is.
Well, the Tremere gave them to you, so
I mean,
No,
like
no.
assume that
Stalheim
they.
handed him over, so.
No, not the one that we got from Stalheim. The one we're getting from the Lasombra.
We haven't
Oh, they have.
seen him yet.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry.
Actually, that might be something to ask if you're going to get the chance to check, because that wasn't ironed out when Francis was over there talking to them.
Someone should most definitely ask or have a way to confirm that we're getting the person we're getting.
Yeah, the more I had the capacity to do that, should it become necessary.
Become necessary, that is necessary. We didn't make this trip for nothing. For them to send a doppelganger or anything else like that.
No, of course not. You didn't make the trip to do anything in particular. I just, I don't expect the majority of the members of the Sword of Cain to keep their word on this particular topic. Not to say that some of them are upstanding gentlemen, others are not so much. And, if I'm totally honest, I'm here to ensure, and he points to Katja, she does not get whacked before I am able to fulfill contractual obligations.
So it seems.
Although, for the matter, I do hope you are correct that they do keep their word in this situation. It would go much more swimmingly for all parties.
The 30 minutes will pass as you all basically just wait. It's very, very tense. Once again, you can now see, having been clearly identified, the Sabbat moving on the opposite sides of the river. They've stopped being circumspect and stealthy. You hear the sound of. You guess there's about a dozen, maybe more, on the opposite side of the bank, but it's very hard to tell. They keep moving.
Yeah. Francis keeps an eye out. He's not gonna let the group be surrounded. If they move to surround the group, he will have the car. He will have the cars moved.
They haven't actively come to this side of the river.
Okay.
Eventually, the figure will return, and she makes her way very, very slowly down a path, basically down the opposite side of the road. You don't see a car or anything, and she's dragging with her very unceremoniously a very large bag that's just kind of being dragged along the ground.
All right.
Hey, Francis, that's a frenzy check.
They all spent willpower.
I was going to say, they put your grandsire in a sack and they're dragging him along the ground.
Yeah, that's difficulty 7 as well. It's a good thing I spent that willpower.
Yeah, you're keeping hold of your beast with the tips of your fingernails there. It's like.
It's a high pitched murder.
And just because this is the only picture I will use for Francois Vanel from now on. A few moments later, the Lusombra will dump the bag in the center of the bridge, and spilling from it, you will see this individual. Yes, I used the meme picture.
All right.
He does have a very, very jagged wooden stake shoved through his chest.
Okay, Francis. This is the center of the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, Francis will, Francis will not head up himself, mainly because if two people come up, it might set them off. But he will remain right next to the bridge, and he will request Catcher to test the blood.
Okay.
Oh, fantastic! I might as well just fucking go.
Oh, yeah, actually, Ryan, you do it.
Yeah.
Actually makes more sense.
Hey Ryan, welcome to being expendable.
Well, see, the thing is, I don't really have a particularly big stake in this. I'm just here to taste the goods, and then, get lost.
What? Hey, you're gonna
Fine, you
taste
want to go
something.
taste the goods? You go taste the goods.
All right, I'm gonna, with my cane in hand, trot along the side of the bridge, humming Robert Johnson. To approach party in question.
The Lasombra looks down at you with a raised eyebrow.
Is this the goods that we requested?
Yes, it is.
You should tell the truth.
Your ears don't bleed.
Well, you don't mind if I... Just trying to find the word that is sample the goods, as it were.
On a side note, are you some kind of mutated Kia seed?
The Buddha Marconius, they tend to keep them themselves. They're... Yes, I would say they are cousins, if we are talking in terms of bloodlines. Yep, so interesting, gentlemen.
Fascinating.
Gonna open the bag.
She dumped him out of the bag. He's just kind of staked
Oh,
on
excellent.
the bridge.
Fine. Can I poke the steak hole to get a little bit of flavor?
You'd have to cut him.
Fuck. Okay. So you don't by chance happen to have anything sharp on you at this moment in time?
You came to the hostage exchange and you're not even armed.
Yeah, well, pointy objects aren't exactly my purview of use.
She draws a knife from behind her. The knife is odd. It's made of like a black stone, but she tosses it to you.
Is this obsidian or something darker?
It's not dissimilar to obsidian, but it's worked. It's worked. It almost looks like black marble, but it has a much sharper cutting edge.
Okay, I'm just gonna hold up his pinky finger, poke the end of it with the knife so a little bit of blood comes out.
You have to put quite a lot of effort in because there's clearly fortitude there that you have to cut through. But yeah, you get it.
I'm gonna taste the blood. Do you want me to make the rolls?
Yes, please.
Okie doke. Pretty sure it's willpower in it.
Yep, expend 1 blood point and roll your willpower. Diff 3 plus the level of the ability. That's first level, so diff 4.
Gotcha. Am I expending willpower to cast the ability in the first place?
Nope, just using a blood point.
Okay. 7 successes.
Okay. What information does Taste of Blood give? I can never remember.
With that many successes, give me just a second. I've got the thing up. I just gotta pull it back up because I was on Katya's thing. Oh, where'd the chart go? With 3 successes, you can even determine up to diablerie in the past. How many vitae they have left, whether they're kindred or not, past diablerie, the potency of the blood.
All right.
Yeah, basically
So,
all the things.
all right. So list them out to me again. I'll answer each one as we go.
Okay, potency of the blood.
He is, I believe, Val is 5th gen. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Remaining vitae in the subject.
2.
Oof. Whether they are kindred or not.
I mean, I should bloody well hope so.
Yeah. And since he got over 3 successes, he can even determine whether he has diablerized someone in the past.
I mean, Valon's like 1,000-year-old kin. Yeah, he's eaten someone. He's totally eaten at least one person.
Ryan just grins. Naughty, naughty boy.
I mean, when you're 1,000-year-old, fuck yeah, you've eaten at least one person. I don't care. It just you do not go through 1,000 years of life and not do it.
Pretty sure you can use all specs whilst staked, can't you? Like
No. While staked, everything goes blank. It's when you're sleeping, you can do certain things, but staked isn't sleeping.
Staked,
Right.
you can hear what's going on, but aside from that, there's not a whole lot you can do. Unless you're exceedingly powerful.
Ryan would hand the knife back. Here's me thinking you'd leave it with a full tank.
Nonsense. If you manage to rip the stake out of his chest, I want to be able to know I can kill him.
Oh, a fair point. Well, it does appear to be in place. I'm gonna take this here stake out now.
Don't do that.
Why?
You're not going to unstake him until I have my hostage. I tell you what, a fair deal. You can unstake yours when I rip the chains off mine. Deal?
Got yourself a deal. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm just gonna head back to my current party and confirm the current situation.
Take all the time you need. She sits on the side of the bridge, and she puts her feet up on him. Hey, Bishop, that's another check for you.
Stop.
Stop.
Ryan's gonna make his way down. Well, provided, of course, Francis doesn't lose his shit.
No, I'm spending more power, even if this roll winds up a botch, I succeed, so it's fine. It's just dice roll is being slow, but it's fine. I will succeed at this roll because all power. So, Francis will look upon, we'll kind of walk over to Ramon. We'll just go. I assume he's genuine.
As far as I can tell, there's nothing in the tank, but the man's certainly, well, both from what the lady's saying and from the blood itself, the genuine, real McCoy.
Okay. Then, yeah.
The memories to see. Did you by chance check the memories? About are notorious for making shovel heads. Throwing someone away that looks the part and acts the part is not without the realm of question.
Yes, I'm sure they have plenty of 4th generations on hand.
I mean, you know what? This is no longer my issue. I'm done being helpful.
Oh, typical Tremere.
No, asshole. I refuse to help you anymore.
I'm sorry, can I just point out that the line, I'm done being helpful. Typical Tremere, that was an excellent. Thank you for his But, continue.
Yeah, because I was so rude previously. As far as I can tell, this is a real gentleman.
Alright. Then we'll just make the exchange simultaneous. If he hasn't got much blood left in his body, then we'll just... I'll just take him to the vehicle and feed him some blood. Then we can unstake him. I don't want to risk a hunger frenzy right after the exchange. That'll be used as an excuse to attack us, or just a naked opportunity to kill us all.
Understandable. I would point out that this kind of situation, I do believe that the lady, if you want to call it that, is not currently of the opinion that the stake should be removed until the chains are also off of that guy.
That's fine. Well then, I will get our guest that we paid, well yes, we, as in my clan, paid so dearly for.
If it helps, I like to think that I'm worth every penny.
Well, the Tremere certainly think you are. Come on.
He stands up. Shuff.
Yep, and Francis will just, Oh, somebody want to say something?
No, so I just thought the concept of if Starheim was a real dick, he'd kill this person just as they were on the bridge using some sort of blood magic and, cause a massive war that would get you killed because, reasons.
Still giving it.
No, Starheim was a massive dick. He'd have booby trapped the chains when they were broken. Something would happen.
Yeah, but, that way they wouldn't have, he would have just poofed immediately instead of while they were on the bridge.
Alright, well, Francis will head on over with a hostage. He's obviously got him an arm on him, so he can't do anything sneaky snack. And once he reaches the center of a bridge, he'll simply say, "Pleasure doing business."
That has to be the most grit teeth thing I've ever heard come out of Francis's mouth.
It's like, take a cunt.
In a lightning fast move, you will see the La Sombra uses her hand and snaps the chains.
Yeah, I'm gonna celerity away with Francois.
At which point, the gentleman on the... You basically, there's an almost palpable kind of wave of boom, power that comes when the chains are snapped. And to just see the Tremere flex his fingers as the chains themselves burn away in green flame, but they don't seem to hurt him. He gives a polite bow to you and he says, well, that was most certainly interesting. I will remember your kind hospitality. And should you ever be the prisoners of my sect, you should be shown the same courtesies and kindness as I was shown.
I'll make a perception. I'll make a perception empathy roll. Because I want to see if he's actually telling the truth.
Tremere, not eating your soul. Like,
This is incredibly valid. Well, I get 4
All
successes.
Why don't you try and see if the Markavian is saint while you're at it?
To be fair, we do have a guy here who can literally tell lies from truth, so...
Drunk Spire is a naughty, naughty boy.
It's an incredibly high roll.
No, sorry, I completely fucked up that roll. My apologies. I'll roll again.
It's 9d10 at diff 4, isn't it?
How did you guess?
Who can math now, Evan?
It's
Who's
as he says this. As he says this, you will see an odd flash of his eyes.
Oof.
He's totally telling the truth, Bishop. What are you talking about?
Well, that's fine. Anyway, I've already retrieved Francois, and considering I have celerity anyway, I'm probably like... When she snapped the chains, I probably jutted back halfway down the bridge of celerity. Mainly out of reflex, because she did a sudden maneuver, I do a sudden maneuver.
At which point you will see the La Sombra. It's like she's tossing a ball up and down in her hand, and she's smiling.
Okay, one last thing I do before I leave.
No. I think you misunderstand. She's tossing up something that looks like a ball up and down in her hand.
Oh, shit.
What is she tossing up and down in her hand?
Yeah, I don't
It
actually know.
happens. It happens to be a heart.
It happens to be a what?
A heart.
A heart.
With a toothpick stuck in it.
That may be the prince's heart.
Oh god!
Someone with Serpentis 8? Jesus, okay.
That's not Serpentis 8. What are you talking about?
No, you can
Yeah, so
remove
it's
someone's heart with 5.
It's called Heart Thief.
No, it's literally the 5th dot of
The
Serpentis,
5th
bro.
dot removes not only your heart, but you can also remove other people's.
Yeah, this isn't. They're not doing. Okay.
Yes, it is. In case you don't know, it's called Heart Thief. That's what it is. That's literally what it does.
No. Heart thief is where you do it in combat, where you rip out someone's heart. It's literally you call him all them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Golly,
Serpentis
wow.
5 is all that is required to remove someone's heart normally.
Hmm.
To do it in combat, it's like Serpentis 8.
But,
as you're leaving, Ryan's just gonna just in the background, like, bravo.
I am actually going to clarify this just to make sure I'm right, because I'm 90% sure I am.
No, I'm certain you know what you're doing, and the heart can be removed from another person. It's 5.
I'm just making doubly sure, because, like, you know, I will admit sometimes I am wrong. But even if it is then, I just thought it was petulant and really funny. But she'll say, my, Camarilla dogs are always so convinced that what you see is to be believed.
No,
So,
I clearly wasn't.
yes, well, Anthony, sweetie, darling, you were over there and they didn't hear you be smarter than everybody else, okay? It's fine.
They're not. Alright. Jesus Christ.
So, Francis, you have a body. What do you do, bro?
No, Francis is... Francis is still going to say it's so hard to give me. I'll walk up to her.
Another book.
So, now you're willing to talk and not just run, eh? If it helps, I was contemplating if you were going to see through our little deception, our little ruse. She moves her finger around the outside of the heart with the basically it's not actually a toothpick, that would be disingenuous. There's actually a pretty decent piece of wood stuck to it. And she says, tell me something. You are the Francis Dumont who sought the eye shark conundrum.
Pretty much stopping the apocalypse that this bat is so intent on preventing.
Oh. You see Xavier's ears pop up. Aisha finally did it, did he? Good for him. I put in a box. Yes, dear. It's been in a box. So, we're going to let you have this, she says as she holds out the heart. The fact of the matter is that the Safar considers any debts to you for your services paid and rendered to now be, well, seen to in full. This is why, my dear Mr. Beaumont, we haven't killed you. Or we haven't killed any of you, because yes, you did something that enabled us to continue our little war on into a rather blood-stained future. So, consider this our debt of gratitude.
Oh, I thank you. Francis is just gonna grit his teeth and go with it, because his grandsire's life is on the line. He's not willing to fuck this up.
She leans in and she kisses you on the cheek.
Yep.
Before she presses...
Well, Master of Masquerade is not applying anymore. It's just stone cold dead inside.
Inside, Francis going murder.
Francis looked like he just dropped 3 humanity points.
She will hand the heart to you.
Thank you. Of course, now Francis doesn't know if this is actually the heart or not, but there you go.
You know, that's a fun thing, isn't it?
The only way to really know is to unstake him, and he's kind of starving, so... You know what,
I will tell you, to be fair, right now, that is in fact his heart.
Well, what I was going to do is I was just going to feed him 3 blood points, Prince Velon. Even though it's pretty undignified, I don't really have much option. And then I was just going to unstake it now that then when he was no longer hungry and just test. Like,
yeah, his eyes will snap open. And I think there, as you return to the airfield, we shall end there soon. So, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. Have a pleasant evening.